Trying to come up when I'm riding around. I don't really want no friends. I get mad and I know they down. Look, I just wanna do it for the team now, cause they sleeping on the things we dreaming on. Trying to get up to the top, what I'm scheming on. Dirty Sprite on the shoulders, I'm leaning on. We're like, hold up, wait. Everybody, y'all wanna hate. Hey, get your girlfriend on my dick, man, cause I'm messy, yeah, with that kick game. It's like, party in the back with a little bit of drink. Living for the moment, never care what y'all think. Said she got loud ass Easter green. Met a room 112 for the peach cream. She bad, cool when I live it. Probably got a man trying to catch her own jitters. Got my baby getting loose, taking shots by the litter. Here we roll so high, gotta take it to your leader. Rap like I got me a black at home, cause I first 48 every track I'm on. I got a bad white girl, she black and blonde. And wanna be Hollywood leader, act alone. Gotta do it for the team. Work hard till the radio play me. I just wanna make it for the people that made it. Got my friends, I don't need nobody. Can't end up trying to be somebody. Trying to make my mama proud. When a young shot post, I'm standing out. Fuck a fake friend, where your real friends at? Tell them motherfuckers we will never feel that.
Welcome to the Digital Pit Boss early morning checker nigga show. Yes, sir. What it do with you? You're on the West Coast, it's early in the morning. Your ass need to get some rest. If you're on the East Coast, it's early in the morning. Your ass need to wake up. So we talking about the clickbait ain't gonna make you real. I think these YouTube dudes is weak as shit. Trying to survive off of clickbait. Clickbait ain't gonna make you. 10,000 views ain't gonna make you. So you say some dumb shit and your views go skyrocket. Does that make you real? So you only get one view, but you say some incredible shit that only one person heard. That's what you put in the air. See, there's a strange concept building. On the new YouTube click crowd, you know, there's different clicks on YouTube. You got the hip hop click, got the esoteric click, you got the conscious click, you got that straight white news click. Each click, they doing the same shit. They dropping clickbait. Now, why do they put clickbait out there? Because the guppies that uses YouTube for their new television, they feed off this bait. They click on videos based on the title or the thumbnail. It's a science into doing YouTube. We realize that the fans are drones. In their personal lives, they might be normal people. But once they hit that YouTube, dude, they turn into drones. They got their favorite channels. I like this guy. I like that guy. Clicks looking for the bait. But at the end of the day, oh shit, early in the morning, and my haters walked in. That's some of the clickbaits I was looking for. I was looking for you, hater. Where you been? Now, you know what I like about early morning hating? It let me know that today, your day ain't gonna be shit. So you can't have a good day when you wake up or go to sleep with hate in your heart. I've destroyed you already, hater. You dead in the water. When I wrote the title, I was thinking about you. The dumbass nigga. Don't forget about the dumb nigga. He on YouTube too. Matter of fact, it's more dumb niggas on YouTube than anybody. If you got 20,000 views on your shit, 19,995 of them is damn near dumb niggas. Why? YouTube is their new school. I noticed that a lot of the new players in the game of YouTube, they don't really have any information. They definitely not trying to go to Hollywood with this, what they call comedy. If you got a comedy show on YouTube, nigga, you is in the ghetto gutter. You is down there with the juice at the bottom of the trash can. Your shit rotten. You in the wrong spot. It takes years to try to pioneer YouTube. Too many people is worried about how many viewers gonna view their shit. They don't understand that the key is to find one person out of a crowd of people that understands you. Just one. Because if you plan to build something, you're going to need a team. Pitbull's got a team. You can't fuck with it. I don't got to worry. I came in the game with it. You can't stop it. Now, if you've been following my channel, 400 videos in, plus, you would understand. Pit Boss can go any direction. No fans needed. Those that are drawn to me, they understand. All that bullshit, I shakes that off. They get lost in the sauce. They can't keep up. They're addicted to bullshit. They feed off clickbait. I cracks their head with paradigms that shake that shit up. Most people's attention span ain't that long, so I make my videos long as shit. I need you to fall asleep. Go to sleep. It ain't that hard to do YouTube. Easy. Begging for people to listen to you. If you're dying to get attention, whip out your credit card and buy you some YouTube ads. If you really want attention. Because you're not going to survive based on what you understand about life. Ain't no clickbait in that. We can quickly see when your game falling off. I understand. I understand. See, when I started this YouTube shit, first I came on, I was just uploading videos of shit I was working on just to kind of post it somewhere. I never had any subscribers. I wasn't subscribing to anybody's page. I just set up a YouTube page and start posting videos of rap shit and some other shit I was doing. Really just to document it, put it on the line, because my clients was already posting it on their page. And this shit was doing what it needed to do for why they paid me. Then one day, I started following around various types of consciousness. And once again, I just posted up videos. I dropped the Umar Johnson video 5 days after the stripper incident, North Carolina, live on the scene. No, South Carolina, live on the scene. I was out there in front of that church where the 9 people got shot. I wasn't out there thinking, I need a YouTube viewer to see this. I need somebody to subscribe to my page. I didn't give a shit about YouTube and who in the hell was watching, but I damn sure was going to post it, because what I was doing was posting information. Who it go to, who it slap in the head, who would benefit from it, it was not my concern. I was just live on the scene. I was in the midst of it. I had already known Umar Johnson, and I wasn't even posting videos, but I already knew this man. I already knew his background, all the shit he was going through. I already knew all about it. I didn't participate in trying to destroy his position. I just wasn't built like that. I thought about it a little bit before I dropped the video. I was like, okay, this week in unconsciousness, Umar Johnson is associated to strippers. It's 1,000 people upset. They didn't give this man all his money, and he had the strip club getting it in, throwing dollars, making it rain with that mud, bud. And I said to myself, okay, I got this video. Should I wait a little while? I said, well, he ain't really got, they ain't heard him spit in a minute. He kind of went dormant from the event. He wasn't really doing radio shows and YouTube appearances. And I know there wasn't many people that was going to film what I had. So I said, I'd help him out. I dropped this video. That shit got about 20,000 views on it. I didn't have no subscribers. I don't know. I just dropped the video. Clickbait, Umar Johnson. Everybody clicking. Hungry for the prey. I was like, okay. So a few weeks later, I find myself back in Carolinas. Now I'm in the Capitol. One side of the building, the Ku Klux Klan. Other side of the building, the new Black Panther Party. Found myself in the middle of that shit again. Filming. I wasn't dropping my paradigm. I wasn't talking about no Booker T. Washington. I wasn't going in on the preterist view. I wasn't talking about Law and the Knights Templar. I didn't hit their ass with the black cracker. I didn't tell these clickbaiters nothing. I just dropped more information. That video did like 40,000. I guess Hashim and Zinga and the new Black Panther Party was clickbait interesting. It was kind of a hot topic. People was heated up. Shit was going on. Everybody looking for the story. I wasn't tripping. I didn't give a shit. This was just my life. I was just posting up my life. What the hell I'm doing over here. Pointing my camera at some shit. But I understood the power of the media. I didn't need no side of the TV. He wasn't at no shit like this. He don't come to no shit like this. I'd have been at all type of events. I ain't seen no conscious community niggas at these events. Them niggas is YouTube dudes. Couple of them once in a while, very rarely. Goddamn, when I dropped that video, Polite wasn't no goddamn RBG representing. He wasn't down with the program. He wasn't rolling with that shit. I ain't never in my goddamn life seen Cyrus Unseti at a real actual event where shit going down. Niggas got ski masks on, bottle rockets, knives and bats trying to fight the police. Never in my goddamn life. At none of these events. These niggas stay safe in auditoriums. These niggas feel better in their living room. Ain't no thing. I guess we need some YouTube dudes. It's just all part of the game. So then I decide I'll drop some information. I happen to go over to the lowest level of the conscious community. Well, I knew for certain if I open my mouth over here, we ain't gonna get 15 views. Ain't nobody messing with the platform. Y'all know the platform where you first seen me. You didn't see me on my own channel. I wasn't interested. I never did this shit for clickbait. I wasn't here for that reason. Hashim Nzinga asked me 30 times, do you want to speak at this event? This was years ago, before I ever dropped the video on ID. I said, no, I don't want to talk to these niggas. I'm not here for that. I'm here to show these niggas what the hell is going on out here in the trenches. In the trenches. I ain't here to talk to these lames. Because the shit I got to say, these niggas is haters. And I ain't here to talk to no haters. I'm here to find like-minded people and smash. I got a goddamn attitude. I'm from the West Coast. I'm a Negro with an attitude. Shit offends me. I'll run through one of these niggas playing with me. I want to talk. So we jump in the car. We drive to New York, 14 hours. This nigga got me up in here with this real black power shit going down the street for hours. So I say to Hashim, I say, look, what is the purpose? He always got a little wisdom. That's why I kind of hung around him, because his responses is worthy. He said, listen, a black man gets shot, particular area. If don't nobody show up, it's a problem. If we only let Al Sharpton show up, it's a problem. We need a representation from several perspectives on the scene. He says, so that's why we do it. Because if a black man gets shot, a black woman gets shot, and we just let the white folks show up and cover the story, we ain't gonna never know what happened. If we let one of these integrationist type niggas show up, they gonna curve the story, and we ain't gonna never ever understand what's happening to us. He says, so we show up. We put a different spin on the story. We give them the view, and we tired of this shit. He said, we trying to spark the minds of them niggas that sleep. They call themselves conscious, but they sit on YouTube all day breaking down the history. Now, mind you, I'm in the car for like 14 goddamn hours. This is going to be a long conversation in between truck stop and gas stations. Pulling over bathroom breaks. Get a quick stretch and we back on it. And when we get where we going, we ain't going to be there long. It ain't like we coming for vacation. We about to pull up and it's going to be ruckus when we get there. I'm going to whip out the cameras, film this shit. And we're going to get back in the car and it's back on the highway somewhere else. For days. Eating a quarter chicken in a goddamn truck stop. With a bottle of water. Brushing your teeth in the bathroom sink. On a mission. For what they call Black Power. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay. I understand. We need both perspectives on the scene. I'm with that. So I'll help out. I'll film this shit so we can spark the minds of the clickbait audience. That's only going to tune in if you write the right shit on your comment and put up the right goddamn thumbnail. Because these niggas is comfortable in their goddamn living room. Ain't did shit, ain't gonna be shit, and ain't gonna change shit. They just gonna adjust to the system. Just adjust to the system. Until they see what's going on out there. And they get emotionally riled by what they view on YouTube. Then they run to their Facebooks and start posting the video and writing all kind of shit. Their opinions. Emotional keyboard journalists of some sort. So I say, well, look, there's this misconception in the so-called unconscious community. Now, this is years ago, before you ever heard of a pit boss. Drop that stem on your ass. Break you off with this Kit Kat bar, this preterism, and the fulfilled prophecy and the kingdom on the earth. Present. This was long before that. I'm sitting here explaining to this man. I said, you the third head of the new Black Panther Party. Well, I could say 4. As Khalid Muhammad wasn't the first, but he was the first to make it national, take it to the national level. I said, and you kind of came in the picture right along with him. You primarily introduced him to the main guy who started the group. He tells me, yeah, you know, we started as the Black Panthers. And then they took us to court. We had to go to court, get the name changed because they was trying to sue us for using the name. They didn't want to resurrect the Panthers. So we call ourselves the New Black Panthers. I said, well, you know that most of them niggas don't understand the difference They see an all black uniform with the hat and they think this shit the same. And they actually think that marching and screaming is power. This is their concept of black power. He say, well, that's just the spark. That's just what we do to get them started. Once they actually get started and they focus in and we bring them in, then we give them the real. I said, oh, okay. You just kind of seeing where they at first. He said, yeah, you know, this is a voluntary group. You don't get paid to be no Panther. Take all this heat, get chased by the feds and the CIA and marked as a terrorist group, and you ain't bust a shot on a white boy. You just out here trying to defend black people. I said, okay. I said, so the race in the game is propaganda, because propaganda is the first tool used in most armies and in most wars. Before they fight, they like to get the rhythm going on their side. So they start off with the propaganda. See if they can win the hearts and the minds of the people. Then they move in with the violence. He said, yeah, that's how war is fought. And I agree. I say, so then we got to focus on the propaganda. That's where the camera comes in. That's where the YouTube videos are necessary. We got to shape and mold the minds. I said, but see, they still don't understand the difference. There's a difference. The first Black Panther group, the leader group, they were college kids, and they weren't even violent. They started off protesting. They learned that from the 60s marches and protesting that was commencing all around the country. Segregation laws that was in full effect, slowly diminishing. By 1966, they had formulated a group. Now their group was going to base their attention on police corruption. It wasn't a big group. This wasn't an ideology shared by Black America at the time. This was just a small group of people with this view. And they decided they didn't want to use no Bible. They didn't want to have no gods. They was going to fight without that. And their inspiration wasn't going to be no Marcus Garvey. This shit was going to be Mau Mau. They was going to take a Karl Marx communistic dialectic materialism view. Radical revolution. I never seen them talk much about the Blood Brotherhood of the 1920s. I don't really think they knew about that for some reason. Not many people do today. Thankfully, Pitbull's got a video about the Blood Brotherhood 1920, type of shit you're not going to hear on this thing. But nevertheless, they had the exact same views. This dialectic materialism. Now, if you don't know what that is, thankfully, Pitbull's got a video on that subject. You can go look it up. Just type it in, go through the videos, find it, and go find out what it is. Or just Google it. Shit, somebody threw it up. But nevertheless, Karl Marx and Engels' perspective. This same ideology was used by a revolution in Russia in the 1920s, before the Blood Brotherhood fully formed. The CIA was in Russia examining this revolution going on. They said to themselves, if that perspective gets into the mind and the consciousness of America, it could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. And so it found its way here. In the 1920s, among black people, it was the American Blood Brotherhood. They had that same revolutionary spirit. Now, the black fist comes straight out of the white fist, straight out of white power. Not many people understand that the black fist, with the fingers forward, clenching the thumb, represents the sickle and the hammer. Communistic perspective. Russian Stalin era. They don't know about that, though. All they know is black power. So, as this ideology swept into the 60s, Mao Mao had a revolution in his country. And he used a communistic, radical revolutionary strategy and defeated his opponents. His end result, independence. They used socialism from a government perspective to control the economics of his country so that it can empower the government and strengthen their economy by government means. And to this day, China and its red sickle and hammer flag is communist with a socialistic perspective right off the muscle. In the 1960s, Panthers found this to be very inspiring. So they erased God from the paradigm of the Panthers. They introduced a socialist view, welfare, created a welfare program, became the first in America to offer welfare lunches to children going to school, feed the children. The American government seen this and knew exactly what it was. They had just dealt with communism from the Hollywood 10 in the 40s. Those was a bunch of Jews. Oh yeah, them Jews was communists, socialists. In the 50s, they took them to the Supreme Courts. They had all kinds of speaking engagements where they went in on this subject. And guess who was behind the push? Your NAACP, civil rights leaders of the day. I played some audio many a times. Paul Robeson, a communist. Boy, that boy can talk. That boy got that, yes, this is Paul Robeson. Boy, he got that voice. He was atheist. They broke his ass coming with that shit. And in the 1920s, J. Edgar Hoover looked at the American Blood Brotherhood and smashed it. They didn't last a full 2 years. They were a bunch of journalists out of the West Indies, living up in a communistic socialist Harlem. The integrated Harlem. Now, Marcus Garvey, understanding that the enemy of your enemy is your friend. And so Marcus Garvey took a liking to the American Blood Brotherhood, gave him an office, so that they can get their work in. Paid them to go out, excuse me. Paid them to go out into the community and sabotage the NAACP's meetings, as the NAACP was trying to sabotage his movement. You got to fight fire with fire. Now, that socialist paradigm, it worked its way to Ghana. It took hold in the mind of the Ghanaian president. Now, he was fighting colonialism, and he needed to be funded. And he couldn't look to America because Great Britain is who he was fighting, and America was partners. So what'd he do? He looked over to the next country in his country, in Africa, and they were being colonialized by Russia. But because of the Berlin Conference of 1895, Russia could not enter a war with another white man. These are strict rules that they follow in Africa. They're not about to have no wars over land in Africa. The land's been divided. Go conquer your area. But that don't mean he can't play warfare and strategy. And what is legal is that he could get behind particular countries. And so he got behind the Ghanaian president. And he fought. But eventually, Britain had too much power. And he came to a point where, since he didn't have a full-fledged army to fight, and it was just becoming destructive, he had to compromise. So he decided he'd become a democracy and become a puppet to America. Smart move. It was either that or become annihilated. So Ghana to this day is a puppet. Ghana to this day got one of the most stablest governments in Africa. And it has a main port, all given to you by your masters. America. We control their government to this day. When I say we, I'm talking about the government of America, not me. All I control is my environment. That's it. I don't got nothing going on outside of my environment. You step in my shit with that bullshit, and I'll show you who control this shit. I only got one life to live, and I'm going to live it protecting my shit. That's it. But Nkrumah, he received the Stalin Prize for his socialistic, communistic view. And because he had got trained in America in the 30s, where he was able to witness the mindsets in Harlem. He understood that Pan-African paradigm. But since he had to play politics in his country, he wasn't running a nationalist view, because he also had to play politics. A book came out of that land called The Wretched of the Earth. Oh, if you want to be a revolutionary, is primary reading. Oh, if you want to be a socialist, communistic perspective, is mandatory reading The Wretched of the Earth. Frantz Fanon. Don't ask me how I remember all this shit. I don't know. Beating up on these conscious idiots. Maybe that's how I learned it. But nevertheless, the socialistic, communistic, dialectic, materialistic view entered into black folks' mind in the 60s. And it was running around. I don't know if it's the little red book or the little green book, but it was a little book. It was like a book written by Mau Mau. It was passing it out. Mind you, this is not the view of the majority of black people in America. The majority of the black people in America wasn't even paying attention to the Panthers at the time. They're more popular today than they ever were at the time. Most people don't know that. But at the time, afros and leather jackets and black fists in the air. It's going to be some black power around here. And the Panthers was on the scene. Now, according to the story, since they wasn't just for black people, and with socialism comes integration, you know, socialism is part of integration. So that makes the Panthers integrationists. They had no problem because their speeches inspired poor white people. And poor white people are those Nazi type. They love that Stalin white power shit. So they created the White Panthers. Most Black Panthers don't even know they existed. They had the same symbol, but instead of a Black Panther, it was the same logo. They had the same philosophy. They fighting police brutality. They wasn't fighting white people. They was fighting police corruption against the poor. But today, if you listen to these niggas, you would think them niggas was Black Power, RBG, Garveyism. Absolutely not. Police corruption was their objective. They wasn't fighting white people. They were fighting police corruption. And so they got the fight that they was looking for when them police showed up and said, okay, you trying to expose us? Let's get it. And that same system, just like in the 1920s with the American Blood Brotherhood, them police came in with vengeance. They can't stand when Black people take a communistic, socialistic perspective. They can't stand it because it radicalizes them. They can't stand it. And they always take out God every time. And the Panthers, later on, some of them same Panthers, when they got much older, reflecting on their reflections, they said, you know, I don't think it was a good idea to remove God. And so when you read their writings, they go back to the church in their own writings. And a lot of these newbies to the game, they have no idea because they only read the first book or heard the first speech when it was an anti-God perspective. Now, I doubt the corrupted police was Bible believers. I doubt it. They probably said they believe in it. But you can't just talk about it. You got to be about it in order for it to become you. Can't just talk about it. So, the new Black Panthers, under the great Honorable Khalid Muhammad, stemming out that fruit of Islam. Now, when he was at the Nation of Islam, I recall a speech where he shows up with a red, black, and green bow tie. Boy, when I seen that, I knew it was fire going down, because that's not something that they represent. How do we know? Because Elijah came out of Marcus Garvey classrooms. Marcus Garvey assisted Elijah, but he didn't participate in his view. He had a different view. Islam was representing that perspective, opposite Garvey. Holler when you hear me. But Garvey knew that his mission was much bigger than his position. He needed all the black people in order to fight that beast that Sarah Sutin said he swear he banging on. He swear he banging on the beast. I think when you do like 1,000 YouTube videos, you finally banged on the beast. You hit him with a video, and the beast didn't even flinch. Back to the story. Khalid Muhammad took a different view. He kind of sprang off of the Malcolm X Pan-African perspective. But even though Malcolm X's parents was Garveyites, he didn't get his perspective from his parents. He was a pimp. He wasn't thinking about what his parents was talking about. He didn't even understand the Islamic perspective till he got to jail. But in Africa, and visited Mecca, and he seen the African perspective of Pan-Africanism. And most of the African perspective is a different version. It's often mixed with socialism, which was not the paradigm of the American Pan-Africanism. American Pan-Africanism was based off Christianity. That was his foundation. Africa wasn't really running that role. So what Malcolm X was inspired by when he returned and he created his organization, it had more of an African Pan-African perspective, not the Garveyite perspective. Now, nevertheless, it was red, black, green. So Khalid Muhammad made a new Panther logo that looked very similar to the first, but wrapped that thing in the red, black, green and became a black nationalism for self-defense. The first group were socialists for self-defense. Y'all don't know it's a difference. And so with a black nationalist perspective, white folks got another problem with the Panthers. And this time he put God on it. He believed in a one God, different from the first group. And you can't deny the electrifying voice he had. I seen him in person. He was a bad man, boy. Boy, he was hard. Seen him live at a college in California, CSUN, Cal State University of Northridge. He was in there getting it. Seen him jump off stage with about 4 or 5 Panthers and run up on a white boy. He scared me to death. I said, well, damn. He don't give a damn about white people. He make you want to hurt somebody. Khalid Muhammad, hard in the paint. They let him live too long. He would have stirred up some shit. He would have built a hard army. Gangsters would have been everywhere running with Khalid Muhammad. But these new niggas out here repping that shit, they don't even believe in God. So although the Panthers kind of took you in and their main motive was to teach you self-defense. So if you're just learning self-defense, I guess you don't really need a God to learn that. But you would never be a Khalid Muhammad because you're going to need God to be that hard. They ain't been able to produce a Khalid Muhammad among a non-God organization yet. But he has some trainees in the wing. Malik Zulu Shabazz. Oh, you already know where he going with it. He repping that Malcolm X perspective. He from California. He a lawyer. He trained in law. He decided, I'm going to take the helm. And he ride for the rhythm. Now, he didn't quite have the Khalid Muhammad gangster about his reign, but he had the polished lawyer perspective. And eventually, 12 years later, he decided it's time I fight from a different angle. Black lawyers for justice. And he handed over the baton to the Christian Hasim Nzinga. That's about the time Pit Boss walked in the picture. When I walked in the picture, Malik Zulu was still the leader. And he was handing over that baton. And that's right about the time I jumped in the game. Now, Pit Boss being raised in California among a gang of gangsters, blooding and cripping and tripping. They ain't never been a force on this country more ridiculous and radical than the gangbangers. Nothing compares to the ridiculousness of the mindset of the gangbangers. They create organizations with no leader. That way, the white man don't know who to get because they ain't got no leader. But they got a certain chemistry and a rank and file and a system. And it's highly effective. It's so effective, they banged out the nation, then banged out the world. And it's blood and Crips all over the world, faking while they trying to make it. Because you really can't do what they do out there. You got to be up and close and personal to get the full spill. You can't learn from a rap record. You can't learn from a video. You got to be on the block. You got to feel it. But they wasn't in the college. They wasn't in the education. They was just in the violence and protecting the block. They kind of had the self-defense mechanism built into them. They didn't know a damn thing about no Panthers. Not a damn thing. They couldn't name 10 of them. Trust me, I was there. They didn't know a damn thing about no Panthers. But what they did know is the cops was here to serve, protect, and break a nigga neck. But because they so random, because their organization requires you to be so goddamn off the chain, the cops couldn't infiltrate the organization like they did the Panthers. It's difficult for them to make a FBI agent become a gangbanger, because the gangbanger gonna put your ass to the test. He gonna have you shoot something around this thing. If you ain't willing to shoot nothing, you can't join. They ain't messing with you. And they gonna have to scoop you, nigga, when you a kid. You don't come into this organization in college. You got to get this on the block. So you better be a 11-year-old FBI agent if you want to infiltrate, because they ain't taking no niggas in college. Now, they not black power either. They don't give a damn about none of that shit. They don't know nobody in the conscious community. They ain't never heard of a Sonnet TV, a Polite. They don't know about these niggas. They're not interested. They only got one motive: violence. Violence for violence. Because the territory that they protecting is protected with violence. It's being destroyed with violence. And violence is the energy that make a G. That creates a Tupac. You can't get a Tupac without violence. So the police said, well, since they're not well organized, or so they thought, and because they don't have a leader that we can sabotage, we just have to incriminate them all. And they filled the jails with gangbangers over anything. The gangbangers' motto was, gangbangers don't die, we multiply. You got to tell yourself anything to try to fight this beast. Just make up a story and believe it. Whatever you believe, you can achieve. So, nationalism under the new Panthers started to coagulate with Khalid Muhammad, because he had that vibe. He got Ice Cube. Oh, he got all kinds of people to join. At least the perspective. And the goddamn new Black Panther Party was somewhat like a structured gang. But instead of shooting at each other, they fighting for justice. Now, there's an issue fighting for justice. There's a position that can't be won when you're fighting for justice. See, Martin Luther King was fighting for justice. The socialists are fighting for justice. You can't get justice from an oppressor. Nationalism is about creating a nation separate from an oppressor and delivering yourself your own justice. And once you achieve a nation, you still got to do business with your oppressor. Because if you was able to form a nation, even right here in America, let's assume the white man was sick and tired of the Negroes, and they gave you the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. I said, that's your land. Don't come out that shit. I said, okay, white man, we gonna do just that. And you took that land and you formed you a nation. But you still got to do business with the world. You got some cotton for sale down there? We'll buy it. You're going to sell your cotton to the white man. And you're going to buy all his shit. You're going to do global trade. So the ultimate end is fighting for freedom, meaning free from the oppression and rule of the white man, only to succumb to his global operation, where he don't give a shit if you're the president of the nation, controlling the resources. He controls the global economy. Therefore, he's going to conduct how much he'll pay you for your cotton. And then he's going to tell all the nations that he's aligned with that if you don't sell it for this price, they won't buy it. And eventually, you have to succumb to a power much greater than you. Now, if you want to be like the ancient Africans, earth, go back to nature, an economy. You'll just be the Stone Age, walking around the trees, living in huts, living in a tent in your front yard. No running water, no electricity. If you want all that, you got to join the global economy. You're going to need to do some trade. Nation building is about trading with other groups, other tribes, other nations, other continents. You got to become advanced. So in a 14-hour trip down the highway with Hashim Nzinga, I begin to illustrate to him Booker T. Washington. He say to me, yeah, I know about Booker T. I never gave him a deep look. I said, well, you're going to need to. Because before there was ever a Garvey, there was a Booker T. And he did everything Garvey would never do. He established what Garvey could never establish. He trained up the men that would surround Garvey and support Garvey. And without a Booker T, you wouldn't have a Garvey. You just wouldn't. If it wasn't for Booker T, you would have been integrated long before Martin Luther King. You would have got integration in the 1920s with W.E.B. Du Bois and Margaret Sanger. You would have been had Planned Parenthood. You'd have been had the pill. You'd have been had homosexuality in your neighborhood. You'd have been had all of that. There was parallel forces operating in the black community. I hit you with Harold Cruz. Oh man, y'all didn't know who Harold Cruz was. You didn't have no clue. You couldn't type in Harold Cruz on YouTube today and find a video longer than 2 minutes unless you visit Digital Pit Boss. I'm like the only person on 1 billion YouTube channels with a Harold Cruz video. If you haven't watched it, you don't even understand black people's problems. You don't have a clue what black people are going through. In a hit rock book that no Kemetic, not even the brand new black Satanist Jabari, could write a book like this. Boy, the comedic problem is growing. Y'all love that shit. I take a survey. Y'all love Black Satanism. Y'all love that shit. Y'all love it so much that Pitbull said, I'm done with you niggas. I'm done with you niggas, man. I'm gonna let these Black Satanists take over your minds. You niggas ain't worth saving. According to the Bible, if I spit the truth and y'all don't receive it, I'm supposed to dust my sandals off and keep it pushing. You niggas is headed for hell. Y'all want Jabari. Oh, man. Harold Cruz. I spoke Harold Cruz's name to Leonard Jeffries on the phone one day. I was on a phone call with Leonard Jeffries, Brother Reggie, 5 members from the Amun-Ra squad, a chick I had on the phone talking some Black Power to, and myself. It's like 8 people on the goddamn phone. Brother Reggie called him up. Leonard Jeffries, Pitbull said you ain't Black Power. You ain't no RBG. He a little more wiser than Reggie. He was like, well, you know, everybody got their opinion. I said, yeah, I said it. You ain't no goddamn RBG. Mind you, Hashim Bazinga loves Leonard Jeffries. He gave a whole dinner to him. Had me come out and film that shit. I sat there looking at the ceiling for hours. Like, when is this shit gonna be over? What the hell am I doing here? I'm not trying to promote this shit. I got to keep it real. My homies is looking at me. That's the only measurement stick I need to worry about. If my homies think my shit real or fake. The rest of these new niggas, no new friends. I ain't even worried about you and what you're thinking. I'm only riding when my homies call. Rest of you niggas can go over there to Front Street and get the fronting. Now, on the phone call, Leonard Jeffries proceeds to tell me about his time in Africa. You know, he claims that him and the cat that supposedly had wrote Roots, that, you know, he helped him revise it or correct it or something. He was played a part in the movie Roots. Come to find out, that old boy got sued. He didn't even write that. He stole that from another book 10 years before called The African. I wonder if it was Leonard Jeffries responsible for any of that. Well, he proceeded to tell me about his story. It was a pretty good story. He said, you know, I translated, what's the French guy who all the comedics love and wrote that book? I don't know. You know, it's hard for me to focus on these cats and remember these cats because I try to blank out, just black out on that bullshit and focus on the real shit. But nevertheless, after about 30 minutes of scolding me, you know, I gave him a little respect. Not because he was older, just because he, you know, he had a perspective I could respect a little bit. So I just, you know, I gave him a little respect. Then he asked me, you got any questions? I said, yeah, I got one. He said, oh, you should have more than one. I said, no. I only got one. He said, what is it? I said, should we throw away that Bible? He did a backflip. Up. He got to catching himself because he could tell it was a loaded question. Because see, if he'd have answered this question wrong, I was going to treat him like a prostitute. I was going to treat him like a prostitute. No more respect game for you. Now I'm about to chop your head off. But he knew better. He was like, well, no, you ain't you ain't got to throw the book away. I said, oh, okay, well, that's all the questions I got. Reggie sitting on there, mouth shut. I said, let me get on the phone with these clowns. I ain't got time for this shit. I just keeps it real. I don't need no new friends. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here to keep it motherfucking real. And if I'm fake about that, oh man, I'll jump off the rooftop with no feathers on. Do a double backflip into a pool full of gasoline. And when I come up for air, I light that shit up. I don't even need to exist. The crisis of the Negro intellectual, a historical analysis of the failure of Black leadership in 1967. Harold Cruse drops the atomic bomb on consciousness. Not one response from no intellectual leader of the day that was Black. But 10 white boys write a response to this book. Not one Black. And boy, when I talked about this book, Brother Reggie didn't have a clue. When I mentioned it to Leonard Jeffries, his top hat flew off. He hate Harold Cruse. And I just laughed. I said, oh yeah, I'm on the right mission now. When I mentioned him to Unc, he didn't have a clue. You ain't never seen these niggas post that book up on the conscious community. You ain't never heard one of these dudes mention Harold Cruse in this book. And none of them. This book is way harder than the blueprint for Black Power. That's sweet compared to this book. Who is a thick book? That shit covers several decades of leadership. He spares nobody. He don't even spare Marcus Garvey. He ain't sparing nobody. You gotta love it. But boy, when he take off on the NAACP, oh my God, it's like he just turned the fire up all the way. They got it the worst. Every one of them. Every one of them. Decade by decade. He lived through the shit. He ain't just writing from his historical research like these lame ass niggas today do. He living through it. He was an elite among them. He was a rock star in literary writing. A rock star. His book's so complicated to read, you got to slow down and break these words down. His composition and sentence structure is ridiculous. And you ain't never grew up and ever heard this book spoken in your whole entire education system. The few people who bought this book quietly read it in the back. It was in the back reading their ass off, just depressed because their heroes was being slaughtered long before Pitbull show up. Slaughtered by a man who was there, who witnessed it firsthand. He said in 1972 in the video, Harold Cruse Symposium, that the 1960s revolution wasn't no Black Power. What? Now, you know, I can only speculate. I was just barely born in the 70s. I wouldn't know what the hell was going on. I wouldn't know the difference between black power and an alien. But when I got older and got a hold of this book, I was ready to comprehend some information. That's a fact. And I couldn't deny his skills. Too much information. Somebody write a page number 1 through 500. Just put it in the chat and I'm gonna read off that page. Pick a number 1 through 500. Anybody, just throw a page, first page number to appear. I'm gonna read off that page in that book, and I'm gonna show you how hard he go. It wouldn't even matter which page you pick. Now, it's a couple of y'all watching and a couple of y'all don't like this video. 1 through 500. Pick a page. Pick a page. Get your lazy ass up and pick a page. I know you're listening. I'm not going to read it to y'all. Put a page number in my chat room. I just want to show you the randomness of how hard this shit hit. This shit hit too hard. With Harold Cruse alone, just this one book, the opposition don't have shit to talk about. 90. Oh shit. Let's go to page 90. Woo, let me see what you pick. Let me see what you pick. Now we just gonna come right in the middle of a paragraph at the top. I'm gonna read the entire page. And it's going to end on a paragraph incomplete. I'm not going to complete it. I'm just going to read page 90 in The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual by Harold Cruse, dropped in 1967 in the middle of the goddamn consciousness of the 60s. You're too late, Jason. We're doing page 90. Good looking, bro. Here we go. And I'm coming in the middle of a paragraph. We just reading word for word on the page. Business offspring have moved into planned action. They will change Harlem from the top down. And since the Harlem-based black bourgeoisie is tied to the chariot of the power structure by 1,000 politicians, economics, and cultural strands, the question arises, for whom and for whose class interests will the power structure redevelop Harlem? The middle class of Harlem that furnish community leadership are either sovereign or nor solvent, neither independent nor autonomous. They thrive on the crumbs granted by them by the power structure for keeping the unruly masses mollified. They are the recipients of those few well-paying jobs from white business, both inside Harlem and beyond. Others have gained possessions of few parcels of real estate property or have opened up a successful business. They are the lawyers, doctors, accountants, public relation experts, etc., who are the same stamped as others who have made their mark on the Democratic or Republican politics. Here in the class stratum of the ghetto aristocrats, the ministers of the churches via the professional social workers and police chiefs over which brand of the community uplift is best for soothing or tortured ghetto souls, twixt hell on earth and the heavenly thereafter. Taken together, they are not bad people. Some of my best friends are the middle-class Negroes. They are simply inconsequential. Many of them mean well towards the masses, but they are frightened to death of the power others and their own. Hence, they can be depended upon to rubber stamp every design the power structure projects to the redeveloped Harlem. To wit, integration of Harlem by 1975 is aimed of area planned groups, ran a New York Times subhead in the front page story of April 5th, 1965, to further this integration. The shifting of large blocks of Negroes and Puerto Ricans, both within the area under the studies and to outside communities, has been suggested. And in addition, the planning board has created its own council of volunteers on economic and cultural problems. The planners, of course, left out political problems, and for good reason. The integration of Harlem will not only reduce white little political power Harlem has, in fact, if successful, will undermine the political potential lying fallow that the Negro middle class has never dared use. The economics of this plan are assuredly not meant to enrich Harlem's black bourgeoisie. Did you get that? As he breaks down the 1960s, the integrating of Harlem had begun very rigorously. The economic power was not going to enrich the bourgeoisie class, the upper class. That's the bourgeoisie class, the doctors, the lawyers, the politicians, the etc.s. They were going to integrate Harlem, and it wasn't going to enrich them. Why in the fuck would a bunch of aristocratic blacks in Harlem choose to go along with the white power dominant structure to integrate their neighborhoods and not benefit them? This that bullshit we dealing with today. This ain't no integration shit Sarnetta talking about on some Johnny come lately type shit. This is the shit he wrote in a book he dropped in 1967. See, y'all shouldn't even get me started with reading that goddamn book, because my goddamn hairs on my back just stand up knowing that them Harlem niggas is faking while they shaking. And them niggas still faking today. And these are the same old aristocratic bourgeoisie broke ass niggas today coming on camera talking shit about they from Kemet. They're Kemet priests. Nigga, you ain't no Kemet priest. You a dumb ass nigga. That's it. How can you be a Kemetic priest when the religion been dead for 2,000 years and it ain't no Kemetic priest in Kemet, in Africa? Where's the temple with a priest in it? How you just resurrect some shit and name yourself Pharaoh and run that dumb shit on a YouTube channel? Boy, see, I don't need hundreds of thousands of views with this potent shit, because y'all ain't gonna support shit, and I'm gonna be out here swinging and fighting on these bitch ass niggas by my goddamn self. So I'm cool with the fuse, with the twos and fuse I was given. Maybe y'all make a difference. Let me put my PayPal link out there. Let me see if how hard y'all niggas really is. Let me see what's going on with my shit. Y'all ain't dropped a dime on your boy. Y'all just like me fighting these crazy ass Negroes by my goddamn self, huh? Now here's the deal. Either y'all just listening for entertainment value, which is cool. Either y'all just listening for entertainment value, or are you trying to build some shit? And either you gonna come up and get on this mic and you're gonna lead the fight, are you gonna support me to build a goddamn platform that could put some goddamn energy in the room? Because sooner or later, I'm gonna drop this entertainment shit and bubble past you niggas, and I'm gonna turn off the light switch. I ain't talking no more. Y'all ain't gonna set me up for the fall. So if you mean it, put 100 on me. I need 60 of y'all to drop 100. 60 of y'all. Now 60 could be 10 people dropping 600. And I know my haters gonna hear this. Why these niggas at? See, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna yell it out all day. I need this. You working with something? You want your name on the company or something? You want part of the ownership? Drop the whole rack. And then we can do that. Either way it go, it's going down. Because y'all wasn't here when I opened the restaurant. You wasn't here when I opened the trucking company. You wasn't here when I opened the club. You wasn't here when I started this film shit. You wasn't with me when I was in South Carolina. You didn't drop no gas on me when I drove all around the goddamn country filming shit. You wasn't here when I bought this Mac. You wasn't here when I spent none of this shit on none of these cameras. You wasn't here dropping a goddamn thing. But you sure love the information, right? And your damn show wasn't with me when I was sitting for several hours a day for years studying this shit, trying to figure out the paradigm. I wasn't born just knowing how these dots connect. I had to do the work. But you're here now. So do something. You got to pick somebody to push the line. It don't got to be me. Y'all can push one of these lame ass comedian niggas on YouTube. Raise that nigga up. Go get that nigga $20. Let him give you some of that dumb down. Where the down ass chicks at? Where y'all at? When y'all gonna holler? When y'all gonna be like, I got you. Come on, let's ride. January 1st, it's gonna be a whole new conversation. It's gonna be a whole new conversation. And we're gonna push. I'm becoming live out my whip all over the country. And I ain't talking. I'm gonna turn off the chat on y'all. On January 1st, I'm turning off my chat. No more chat. I ain't got time for y'all. Y'all can just view shit. No more engagement because you ain't engaging. I'm blocking the shit out of niggas too. That's how bad I'm not looking for no fans. I'm putting a block down. I got a block party. But a couple of y'all keeping it 100, I must agree. A couple of y'all laying in the cut. Prayer warriors and silent assassins. And technical advisors. A couple of y'all 1,000% real with it. I spend hours talking to those that communicate to me as well. If you ever find one of them that holler at me, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I sit on phone pit while he's shopping, smashing, doing all this shit you don't see on camera. I got two lives, one you see and the real one. Yes, sir. When I create these videos, I never really know where it's gonna go. The title, I try to follow it. I try to keep in with the title, but if I just put up War chest, y'all ain't gonna click that because it don't give you enough clickbait. It don't feed you enough dumb down. You need a title with some dumb down in it, so you'll click it. Catch the bait. Now I'm up before the sunrise, doing my shit. All the work I put in from 4 in the morning to 6 a.m. You can't work with me. I stay up late too. I sleep when I'm tired. And I get all the sleep I need because I'm not always that tired. I work beyond money. I'm not working for money. Money is the result of what I do, not the purpose. I do this shit because I'm real with it. I don't have one video that nobody try to expose. I sit here and freestyle 2,000 years of history. And they ain't caught me slipping yet. Not yet. I drop audios. I just let the audio play sometimes. I don't even be tripping. Sometimes it's like that. I don't really be looking to capture y'all attention all the time. Not every time. I'm already knowing that the position I take is anti the unconsciousness. They don't want it. I drop it anyway because they listen. I know they listening because I watch them duplicate my shit. I come up with the morning cup. They got cushion coffee. I talk about buying communities. They do a whole show on buying communities. I talk about Booker T. They bring out professors on Booker T. Try to keep up. We can't let Pit Boss be the only one talk about that shit. Somebody go over there and listen to his videos. And then come on here and give that shit the Black Satanist spin, please. I do a video that only get 50 views on the STEM bus. They come up with a whole character. This nigga start a STEM school. Boy, the truth hurt and will smack your ass in the head. I talk about the Coptics. Then there's 30 channels talking about the Coptics. I broke their ass up with preterism. Now 1,000 of these niggas say they are partial preterists. Never heard the word till you heard of Pit Boss and William Bell. Never heard the word in your goddamn life. Now you're a partial preterist. That's that digital Pit Boss effect all through your shit. You don't need 1 million views to be effective. You need to have real shit you talking about. You need real shit that you talking about. If you got that, you can succeed. It ain't that hard. You just got to know what you're doing. You just got to know how to approach this shit. How do you get it in where you could win? How does it work? Well, if you decide to become a new YouTuber, let me give you some advice. If you're going to do comedy, have your fun. Put everybody's name in your video and make sure that you got their full name spelled correctly so you can catch hold to the algorithm. If you're trying to get fans, if you're here for fans and views, if you want a bunch of haters, talk about everything real. Just go against the real. And you'll gain all of the dumb niggas because that's all they follow, that bullshit. If you hear because you want to talk about your spiritual perspective, avoid these niggas and drop your shit. Don't use none of these niggas' names in your video. Don't make a comment about what they say. Just drop your shit. Just drop your spiritual science without mentioning none of these niggas. Don't worry about the views because you're not here for that. You're just here to attract the like-minded souls that want to fall victim to your spiritual perspective. And keep one thing for certain. This is super duper important to your new YouTube experience. Don't create no new friends.
Right. I really don't. I've seen a lot of friendships go down to the wayside and a lot of people business be put out in Front Street. It's crazy because your best friend will probably be the one to betray you. And they say love thy neighbor. But there's no telling how many bodies they got in their backyard because the grass sure does look good on top when the dirt is packed hard. See, me, I don't have friends. See, this terminology that we seem to believe in just doesn't seem to fit in the timeline of the generation that I was conceived in. Yeah, we cool. I'm your boy on the weekend, but as soon as I turn my back, that's when the flow boys go to creaking and the rats go to creeping and everybody starts talking like church women do about Deacon Brown's wife as soon as the pastor goes to preaching. But we are all good people, right? When you see me, it's, hey man, how you doing? Your family good? Everything good with you? But under their breath, they mumbling, how it's a bus would hit you. Wait, what was that? Nothing, man. Glad to see you doing okay. See, this is just an example of the things that tend to happen to me every single day, and I don't think it would get better, even if I pray, because you know the devil was an angel once upon a time. Because saying the fact that God has so much shine, so why should I have faith in mankind? When their jealousy is easy to see like pale white women tan lines, and as far as I can tell, some of us have been in the sun for far too long. So am I wrong? Am I just in my feelings? Did Tony not kill Manny? Did Bishop not kill Raheem? Is this not a representation of a vivid illustration of what happens when you let your so-called friends in on your team? Or is this just a dream? I know it's not the one that died the king, but in this picture, all I can see is me, just like everyone else. That's why we always gotta stop to take a selfie. So if it doesn't concern me, then it doesn't concern us. And we got gasoline-soaked bridges that are waiting to burn trust, but we want equality for everyone. But everyone ain't for everyone, because when you're down and out, there's never anyone to help pick you up, to help carry one. But it's kind of ironic, because when you die, it takes 6 people to help carry one. But amongst everyone, nobody wants to be that very one. So if I die today, I don't want you liking none of my pictures, sharing my statuses, saying I miss you. Cause when I was here, day to day, you ain't give a shit about me. Now you putting on that they're like you can't forget about me. And that's real. T-Line.
Boy, it's difficult. It's difficult building a goddamn ship. Everybody want to be the captain. It's hard to build a tribe when everybody want to be the chief. You can't have a kingdom and everybody want to be the king. You got to get along to get along. Now, I done dropped too many of these videos. I done broke this shit down too many times. Those that understand me done reached out. A few new ones that showed up. A few haters had to go. A few got scandalous. Everybody got mopped up, cleaned up. Some of y'all done provoked that real nigga shit, that real nigga spit. And here we are. So the question is, what we gonna do? The question is, why are you here? Why are you listening to me? I'm only talking about one thing: economic building. All the rest of this shit I do is just responses to the dumb niggas. But the conversation is build the nation. Don't expect to see Pit Boss on your favorite YouTube channels. They're not here for the purpose I'm here for. They're not gonna give no light to no real shit. Don't expect to come over to my channel and see thousands of people tuning in. If thousands of people would tune in to the type of shit I'm talking about, the whole goddamn country would be going in a different direction. Bullshit wouldn't stand a chance online. Get shut down immediately. A major catastrophe is going to happen in America within a month and be all over the news. 30 channels are going to tune in to a subject matter they don't never talk about. The same process that then went down in every circumstance will retake place all over again. The coons will come out to calm it down. The fake black power out there is going to cheerlead again. The zombies tuning in are going to tune in. And the cycle just going to go round and round. Most of you are comfortable in your skin, living in your paradigm, struggling through it. And the situation seems too big for you to independently change. You're just trying to find a way out for yourself. And when you find that way out and you think you arrive to somewhat of what they call success, you're going to realize it ain't success at all. You're going to still feel empty. You're going to still find yourself looking for inspiration. Have you supported anything worthy in the last 180 days? In the whole year, have you ever said, let me get with some real shit? Or are you struggling to do for self? Or are you just stingy? Are you trying to build something by yourself so you can love it by yourself? What is your aim? What is your goal? Ask yourself, why are you here? It's early in the goddamn morning. I don't care where you at. It's early in the morning. What are you doing here? Do you come here to hate? Somebody did. One of y'all did. So far. You woke up asking yourself, why am I hitting this clickbait channel? I can't stand Pit Boss and all that real shit he be spitting, all that Booker T. How many of you think Booker T is a coon? 5,000 schools he's responsible for. Communities dotted all over the nation he responsible for. Black business leagues created, he's responsible for. The STEM program entrenched in the black community, he is responsible for. And somehow you let a Satanist confuse you. You let an atheist write one book, The Souls of Black Folks. An atheist. Switch your game up. I can't keep dropping this shit over and over, trying to spark you. You're a wet match. You won't light. You will not light. Period. You're going to ever be dull. So here's your instructions. Hit that PayPal link and drop $100 off your ass. And say to yourself, I'm going to see if this crazy ass nigga Pit Boss going to take my money on some polite bullshit so I can talk about it bad, or is he going to build it? You could also write me at that 99lightyears@gmail.com and express yourself. And when you express it to your full capability. And suggest to me what I should do. Let's see where you're coming from. If you think you got the skills to sit on a microphone in a quiet room with pitch black darkness and come off the top of your brain thousands of years of information and connect the dots to the confusion of the day, hit me up. Let me know what day you want to go live, and I'm going to send you the link. And I'm going to just kick back. I'm going to see what you could do. If you could make it look as easy as I do. I don't got no notes. I read from one book because I spoke about the book. I got 1,000 books. I don't pull them out. Y'all not ready for that? Every time you see me, I got a new logo. I got a new client. I got another video talking about some more information different than the ones before. I intertwine the information some of the times. People always tell me, you need to bring back this. You need to talk about. I said, man, look, I talked about that shit. Well, you know, I just started tuning in a month ago, so I didn't hear it. I said, oh my God. Don't get plucked off. Stay on point. Every message has a deeper meaning. It's not just to clown you. I create this shit to awaken your consciousness from the unconsciousness you've been programmed with. These dumb niggas love arguing with each other. Niggas talking about they got PhDs and they broke as a motherfucker. Don't know a damn thing. Nigga, come on, side of the TV, fresh to death, living in a project. All them niggas live bad. What is they talking about? They living in apartments. They can't afford to live in New York. It costs $8,000 a month to be middle class anything. They ain't got that kind of money on their best day. You're going to need $15,000 a month to broadcast live from some fly shit. You can't afford that. They living in the projects that Rockefeller built. They living in the biggest integrated city ever created, Harlem. They got 1,000 bullshit paradigms on one block. And Harold Cruz said that there was a crisis with the Negro intellectuals. And them intellectuals of the 60s was way more sharper than these niggas today. Walking down the street to get on a YouTube channel. These niggas don't appear nowhere but the YouTube channel. Here and there, they go to an event. They get to speak in an auditorium. That part. Tired of it. Well, I'm going to go live my life in the rap game. Y'all going to be like, I thought Pit Boss was... I'll be like, nigga, Pit Boss is STEM-based. It ain't how I get the money, it's what I do with it. So, if you come on my channel and you've been inspired, educated, or entertained by the information, and you'd like to see it keep coming, you're going to have to support it. And since I ain't got thousands of viewers, I could ask everybody for $1. I'm going to need some real money out your ass. I dropped my PayPal link. It's in the comments section. Get your ass in it.